Hello and welcome back to the Movie Memo Recaps. Today we are going to recap a 2017 movie named Kidnap. Keep alert, spoilers incoming. The movie opens with videos of young Frankie during the different stages of his growth. Evolving slowly with the help of his mother named Carla Dyson, he advances into a healthy boy. Carla is a single mother who works as a waitress at a cafe and happens to be a hard-working lady. Her shift is nearly done, but the other waiter hasn't yet arrived yet. She is planning for an outing with her son. She holds on the pressure from the various customers. Not until when the person for the next shift arrives, she calls Frankie to head to the park, and the two are now in a vehicle heading there. Carla loves Frankie a lot because he is the only person her life is committed to. She promises him to meet his dad over the weekend, who is now married to another woman. Finally they arrive at the park, and while Frankie enjoys the games, Carla sits with another parent watching him. Frankie is now 6 years old and they normally play Marco Polo with her, which brings fun to both of them. They proceed to watch the show, but shortly Carla receives a call from her lawyer and informs Frankie to stay on the chair. Over the call it's learned that Frankie's dad wants primary custody of Frankie, but Carla keeps checking on where she left Frankie. While still on the call, her battery runs out, hence returning to where she left Frankie. Shockingly, Frankie is missing, but she thinks he is hiding playing their Marco Polo game. She calls him out loud, but when she notices his toy recorder she begins to worry because he doesn't normally leave it behind. Shortly she notices one woman dragging him into a car and run after them, but the car doors get locked. They drive away and she holds onto the car screaming for help. Not until when she falls off. Her phone slips behind while pursuing them and run towards her car to chase them before they go further. Realizing that her phone is missing, her only chance is to chase them. Suddenly the traffic lights hold them and she goes to see if she can get Frankie, but the car is locked. She requests the car in front not to leave, but when the lights go green all the cars drive away with the kidnappers too. She heads back to her vehicle and continue with the chase, and being on a highway she feels nervous about the speed she is driving. Having lost their sight, she prays to God for only one thing: to recover her son. Suddenly she notices them again, but shortly they drive off to another route, though she also instantly stops and reverses to follow them. The chase continues, though the kidnappers are also not willing to give up that easily. She requests for some help, but the other driver isn't able to listen to her. The kidnappers throw some items to distract her, but she dodges them. They send her a tire which passes over her, causing an accident, and Carla barely survives. She proceeds with the chase and turns on the radio to find out if the news is covering the events on the highway, but not really. She drives faster to reach near them, and they show him Frankie. They force her to branch off or else they would kill Frankie. She persists, but upon seeing a blade she decides to give up and let them go. She keeps a sight on them, knowing that if she loses them Frankie would be gone forever. She looks at his picture and suddenly changes her heart to go hunt them again and get full commitment to do what it takes to get Frankie back. She manages to notice them again and keep a close distance while following them. Over the radio it's learned that the police are looking for Carla's vehicle because it caused an accident, which gives Carla hope that if they find her they would find Frankie too. Suddenly she notices Frankie's toy recorder, and upon listening to it she comes across a recording when the kidnapper approached Frankie. He was tricked that her mom was looking for her, and the kidnapper pretended to be a friend to Carla. Shortly she notices a police officer on a motorbike, hence driving crazily to capture his attention. He approaches her, and she informs her about Frankie's kidnap, but the officer is only focused on her bad driving. He commands her to pull over, though she insists on informing him about Frankie's kidnap. Suddenly the kidnappers knock him unaware and gets stranded in between the two vehicles. The cars branch off the road, leaving the officer down, and the kidnappers proceed with the run. They meet a dead end, hence stopping to turn around, and Carla stops Oswell and move out to see what's next. After some time a man named Terry moves out and head towards Carla. He gets a blade and run to finish her, but she manages to reverse the car not until when he gives up. She then chases him back but suddenly stops, knowing that Frankie might be killed too if he kills him. She asks him what they want and provide him with her purse containing her credit cards as well as the PIN code. She informs him that the only thing she wants is her son and won't even report to the police if she gets him. She promises to pursue them no matter what, not until when she gets Frankie back. Terry picks the purse and moves back to the car without saying a word. She hears Frankie screaming, and then a woman named Margot moves out to approach her, hence locking herself inside the car. She asks her if she can provide them with $10,000 in exchange for Frankie, and Carla confirms she can offer it to them. She persuades her to open the car so that they ride together, and when they collect the money they would let Frankie go. Carla opens for her and starts to drive again, following the kidnapper's car because the woman assured her that everything would be fine the moment they collect the money. After a while they enter a tunnel where Margot attacks Carla and a fight begins inside the car as they control the vehicle. She starts to strangle her with a seat belt, but Carla manages to throw her outside. Upon moving out of the tunnel she puts on Margot's sweater disguising as her to trick Terry into moving ahead. They proceed with the journey though Carla distances herself to avoid being noticed. She learns that they were planning on finishing her though her vehicle seems running out of fuel. They drive for some time with everything going on normally, but after a while Terry realizes that it's only Carla inside the car. He drives faster and threatens throwing Frankie outside, which breaks Carla to stop and let them go. After a while she comes across a family fishing. She looks at Frankie's car seat, which prompts her to call the man and requests her to call the police that her son has been kidnapped. She provides him with the car description of the kidnappers and proceeds to run after them. She drives for a while without any sign of them but suddenly notices the car after it caused an accident. She drives off the road skipping the traffic and later reaches the scene where the car is noticed. She asks the whereabouts of the people who were inside and gets informed that they left already but direct her to a nearby police station. She reaches the police where she reports her case, giving a description of Frankie and that of Terry. The officer seems busy, hence telling her to wait, but Carla informs her that it's getting late, Frankie might be killed soon. She then asks for a phone to call Frankie's dad, but while talking to him, she notices a lot of unsolved cases of missing children. This shocks her and realizes she won't be helped, hence running back to her car and do the work herself. She drives on the streets and shortly come across Terry's jacket at the bin. She senses that since he didn't have a car he might be looking for a vehicle. Suddenly she notices one car and realizes it might the one he got, hence knocking it. In the process one woman gets knocked down and she realizes that another car is gonna finish her, hence sacrificing her car as a barrier to save her. Knowing that she is safe, Carla proceeds to pursue Terry, driving as fast she can. Seeing the car not far from hers she keeps on the run though her car seems running out of fuel. Carla drives faster so that she captures him before the fuel fails her, but Terry blocks all the possible ways of her getting close to him. She starts to knock his car, avoiding him from opening the door, but unfortunately the fuel lets her down, giving Terry a chance to distance her. With the car doomed she tries to chase Terry on feet but shortly give up. She then notices another vehicle approaching and stops it for help, and when the man inside stops she requests him to call the police. He informs her that there's a dead end where Terry went, but shockingly Terry returns and runs into their vehicle. After a while Carla is still alive and struggles moving out to check Terry's car, but he nearly shoots her. She manages to flee and run inside her car and lock herself inside. He attacks her and loads his gun before hitting the door glass to open the car. Carla holds his hand and removes the handbrake, making the vehicle to run backwards into the woods, and the branches pierce Terry. After the crush, Carla tries to question him about Frankie's whereabouts, but he barely says anything. She checks his wallet and learns of his address, which she checks on the navigation. She moves out and decides to walk the rest of the journey, and after a while she comes across a house in the woods. She stealthily approaches it and moves inside with a lot of care. While moving ahead the telephone rings and she witnesses Margot, who she encountered earlier. Over the phone Margot negotiates the price after confirming they got another kid. Carla watches her moving to another house, hence reaching the telephone. She calls the police while she sets herself with a knife after hearing strange noises. She finds out it's a dog and report to the police about the kidnap, and they promise her to arrive within 7 to 15 minutes. Margot returns calling Terry thinking he is back, but shortly notice a gun though Carla is holding her breath tightly. Not seeing Terry she moves out to go check on him though Carla witnesses her leave. She then notices the leftover pizza, which makes her realize that it might be a lead. She moves out and head to the house where she saw Margot going earlier before. She moves in and starts to look around at everything, checking for Frankie. Suddenly she hears him and realizes he is locked up in the ceiling, and even hear more two children who also happen to be kidnapped. Frankie tries to move down, but Margot has also returned with a lot of anger. Carla hits the pipe in the ceiling to create more space though Margot has heard, hence loading her gun to go after them. Carla manages to get Frankie down, but the other two girls feel scared and request for their mom. Margot releases the dog to go after Carla and Frankie, who have reached the dock. Upon seeing the dog they disguise the boat as though they are leaving. Margot reaches the dock to shoot at the boat though Carla and Frankie are hiding in the water just beneath her. Unfortunately, the dog senses their presence, but before Margot shoots, Carla pulls her into the water and starts to strangle her. They struggle for a while, not until when Carla drowns her and confirms she is dead before embracing Frankie. Later on, she returns to the room to collect the rest of the girls, but shortly another man comes inside with a gun. She informs him that her kid had been kidnapped, but the neighbor says he knew the Terrys for 14 years and weren't kidnappers. Suddenly he hears the kids up and move to call them down, but Carla wonders when he calls them girls, yet he hadn't told him that they are girls. She hits him with a shovel when he was planning to shoot her. She later comforts her Frankie that things would get better. Later the police arrives at the scene and Carla with the rest of the children get secured. Over the news they applaud Carla for her heroic work saving her son, which led to the arrest of other kidnappers, bringing the movie to the end. Thanks for watching. If you are new, don't forget to subscribe for more of these recaps. Until next time, have a nice day.